Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Keller, and first off just wanted to thank you for being here today and participating in JSERVE. It's really important for us as Jews to remain conscious of the world around us and our effect on it. There's so much going on around us that sometimes we forget to step back and see the state of the world. And the oceans are in trouble. I don't mean to sound alarmist, but they are dying. And they need a voice to stand up for all of the life on this planet that can't speak up for itself. So thank you for joining me today and for all the work you guys do with JServe to make the world a better place. So first things first, oop, who am I? Oh, there's the thank you slide. Who am I? Um, well, I grew up in New Jersey, just like you guys. For as long as I can remember, really everything that I did was always centered around the ocean. Um, Even like science projects in school, it was all about marine food webs and whale shark research papers. At Congregation B'nai Israel, one of my favorite youth group events was actually the beach cleanups that we did on Sandy Hook. So I'm glad to see you guys continuing them. Um, I really enjoyed being able to share my home beach with all my Jewish peers and to clean it with them and show respect for the oceans and help show them how to show that respect. I was always raised in my family as making sure that I give back to the community and the world as much as I can. It was very important as I grew up. So that kind of continued throughout my whole life. Eventually, I went to MAST. I don't know if you guys know it. It's the Marine Academy of Science and Technology out on Sandy Hook. It's a marine science specialized high school. And really the hardest part with that is that there's a mandatory NJROTC program, which is the Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. I had absolutely no interest in going into the Navy. I had to be buzz cut, clean shaven, as you guys can see in the picture. It's not really my style. But sometimes you have to do things that you don't necessarily want to do in order to follow your dreams and get to do the things that you really need to do in your life. So just don't get discouraged if you have to do some tough things before you get to the main event. And then after high school, I went down to St. Petersburg College, or St. Petersburg, Florida, where I went to Eckerd College. I remember when I was visiting, I had to meet with the rabbi. It was super important during that trip, and we hit it off immediately. And it was really cool because he told me about this cool program of Scubi Jew, where I could combine my love of the ocean with my Jewish heritage. So in order to afford Eckerd, I worked my butt off and inside school and out of school looking for scholarships. I even found help at my local synagogue. So definitely reach out to community members when you guys are looking at colleges, because you never know where you're going to find the help that you're looking for. So always explore every avenue. After college at Eckerd, I went down to Key Largo to be an intern and get my master scuba diver trainer rating at Rainbow Reef Dive Center. So I spent a 6-month internship down there and then 6 months working as a dive instructor to then come back to St. Petersburg to be the program coordinator for Tikkun HaYam, Scubi Jew. So what the heck is a Scubi Jew? I'm sure that's what you guys are wondering. Well, like I said before, the ocean is dying. The very life force that's keeping us alive is in jeopardy right now, and most of us are completely unaware on how bad it really is. Most Jews don't realize that the Torah actually teaches us to protect and to care for the oceans. Our community programs are designed to teach individuals and groups about the Jewish connection to the marine environment and opportunities to repair the sea. We believe at Scubi Jew that any time that Jews get involved in an issue, substantive change takes place. So we take the Jewish tenet of Tikkun Olam, and we try to take it one step more specific to Tikkun HaYam, which is to repair the seas. Psalm 95:5 is Asher Lo Hayam, which straight up states, the sea is God's, and it is our responsibility as shepherds of the world to save our seas. It goes along with the fundamental ethical principle in our religion of Bal Tashchit, which is to do not destroy. And this senseless waste and destruction of our oceans is exactly what we're told in our religion is a blatant ethical violation. So some of the programs that we do with Scubi Jew, well, all of them are focused on either education, action, or connection. So there are programs like our Dive Against Debris program, where we go out on Ali's Way, which is our own Hillel's boat, and we go to the adopted coral reefs in our area, and we actually clean up trash off of those reefs with scuba gear. We do project aware programs that teaches divers how to be eco-conscious divers and leave no trace, only bubbles. We do plenty of beach cleanup events, as well as I run the plastic mesozote program, which you guys will see in another couple slides, as well as our reverse Toshlik program, which I'll talk about, and our Coral Restoration Foundation program, where we actually will go out and help plant corals in a coral nursery down in Key Largo. And that's that picture on the left there of me scrubbing the PVC trees. We grow them in small clippings on these large trees, and then we outplant them over to the reef. So we're doing some coral gardening. It's a lot of fun. And then on the top right there, we also do a lot of scuba certifications, trying to get new divers to get more ocean advocates, get people down there, get their feet wet, kind of pun intended. But yeah, so we're trying to get more engagement. Part of being a Scubi Jew means that every single dive is a dive against debris. You know, we don't only pick up trash when we're specifically looking for trash. Wherever we are, whatever we can do, we're doing it. This hose on the left, I found during my MSDT training in Key Largo, and we weren't doing a dive against debris. I just told the captain, hey, there's something floating in the water, and we need to turn around and get it. And we ended up finding this 60-foot long, I guess, sewer hose. I'm not even sure what it was, but it was huge, and it took the entire boat to get it onto the ship. So it was a really special find. And if you see on the right there, that's me actually at like my first dive against debris in St. Petersburg in Gulfport. Yeah, whenever we go out there and whenever we're in the water and around the water, we want to make sure that we're picking things up, and that's really what it means to be a Scubi Jew. Here are the recycled mezuzahs that I was talking about before. What we do is we take the plastic that we get from our cleanups, and I can actually recycle them using a couple various machines to grind them down and heat them up into a 3D printer filament. And then I take that 3D printer filament and I've designed these cool mezuzot. So we've actually got 100% recycled water bottle mezuzahs going around to Jewish households all over the world. We've had people in Argentina, in Israel, in like all over the US. So really absolutely everywhere. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. And so let's get into, so if you guys want a Tikkun HaYam mezuzah, you can check out our website at repairtheseas.org. And there'll be a link to that at the end of the presentation. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here, why we even have Scubi Jews in the first place. And that's really bringing your attention to awareness. Awareness is key to saving our oceans. People need to understand the effects of their tossed trash and pollution. Large items can cause entanglement hazards and choking hazards. Small pieces can break down even further into microplastics and infiltrate our bodies through eutrophication, which is the process of small organisms eating plastic, and then one larger organism is going to eat a bunch of those smaller organisms. And then an even larger one is going to eat a whole bunch of those medium-sized organisms. And it kind of keeps going up until more and more things that have plastic in their bodies have been eaten. And then it gets to us eating that entire trophic pyramid. And we end up with high levels of these toxicities in our body. Pollution also causes harmful toxins to be released into the water. Runoff from fertilizers can cause massive nutrient uploads into the environment, which cause harmful algal blooms like red tide, which actually has toxic dinoflagellates in it that can harm not only the fish and the marine mammals and things like that, but also can cause respiratory issues for the people just on the coast. So people need better education in these things like global warming, which is where the CO2 in our atmosphere traps the sun's rays and kind of just heats our planet up like a greenhouse. That's why they call it the greenhouse effect. And also ocean acidification, where that carbon dioxide gas doesn't just sit in our air, but it also gets mixed into the water. And when the CO2 and H2O get all mixed together, they form carbonic acid. And that carbonic acid actually dissolves the calcium carbonate features of crustaceans, mollusks, and even corals. So that's what you're seeing in the bottom right. That snail is literally just being dissolved because the ocean is too acidic from all of the carbon dioxide we put into it. So that's a really scary feature that can not only harm these organisms, but also completely demolish our fossil records, because the fossils are made of these hard calcium carbonate parts. So it not only loses things that we have now, but it also destroys our record of the past and what this life looked like. So I have a question, and if anybody wants to unmute themselves, go ahead. But what does this look like to you guys? Anybody?
A plastic bag?
Yeah, a plastic bag. But, you're a human, you're used to it, you've seen plastic bags before. Imagine you're a sea turtle swimming through the water and you see that. What does it kind of look like? I mean, it looks to me like a jellyfish. Um, so that's the sea turtle's favorite snack. So it's things like these that we don't think about as humans, that end up really impacting these marine creatures, because a turtle will eat that plastic bag thinking it's its favorite snack, and it'll fill its belly up with plastic and it can't pass that plastic on. So it ends up just eating these plastic bags and filling up its stomach with plastic, and then it thinks it's full and it's not hungry, so it doesn't go out and find more food because it has all this plastic in its stomach, and it can actually end up dying because it doesn't get enough food that it needs. So anything that ends up in the ocean is going to have a huge detrimental effect to the populations that live there. So, and I'm talking about this trash leading to the ocean, but where does it all go? Most people think like, oh, once it gets into the ocean, it's out of sight, out of mind, but it never really goes away. Um, these these pieces of trash go through these things called ocean gyres, which are these large ocean currents that kind of make circles around each ocean. And those circles just keep spinning and vortexing and pulling these pieces of trash that float along the surface with it. So we end up with things like the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is just a huge swath of ocean just covered in garbage. And we even find garbage all the way down in the deep sea floor. We found garbage down at the Marianas Trench that's completely man-made, and it's not like anybody's swimming down there. It all ends up in the ocean, and we really can't control our impact when it's this great. So where does all this trash come from? I mean, you guys have seen Finding Nemo, the cliche, all drains lead to the ocean, but it's really true. We need to make sure that when we're doing all of our beach cleanups that we log the data that we collect, because that allows scientists to look for patterns and trends and be able to adjust for future laws and regulations in the future to kind of have policies to stop this garbage from getting everywhere. As you can see, like when landfills fill up, or even at your garbage can down the street, if you overfill it, that trash is going to blow away. It blows into a storm drain. That storm drain leads to all the way into the ocean. Even if you're in the middle of the country and you're nowhere near an ocean, you're going to have your trash get into a water table, which will lead to a river, which will end up leading to the ocean. So it all leads there. So don't think that you don't have an effect just because you've never seen the ocean before. It all relates, and our whole world is just so connected that's kind of the point that I'm trying to get across here. And you really never know what you're going to find. On the left, we have a picture of some of the normal things that I find in a dive against debris event. Lots of things that you'd expect from the marine environment, like rope and anchors and fishing line and things like that. But you also find that stuff like a McDonald's cup and a beer can. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen a McDonald's out on the reef. But this trash can really come from anywhere. So we need to make sure that it gets into the proper receptacles and then it gets reduced in the first place. You'll find googly eyes, pirate hooks, giant tarps, even stranger things like a full air conditioner or a beach chair. We just pull this stuff right out of the water. So it's crazy how something that you would never expect can make it there. So what can you do? And that's what you guys are here for with JSERVE. You're here to make a difference. The main thing is, you guys have heard the cliche, reduce, reuse, recycle. Well, recycling is very important, but another hugely important part of it is just that first part of reducing. We want to reduce the amount of plastics that we're making, because plastic never goes away. Every molecule of plastic that's ever been created in the world still exists today because it doesn't break down the same as these natural materials. So we want to make sure that we're reducing the amount of plastics that we're using. And we can do that by using things like reusable silverware or reusable bags, reusable straws, or a reusable water bottle. It doesn't make sense to buy 2 cases of water bottles every week and just put all of that plastic in the ocean when you could have one metal water bottle and just refill it for the rest of your life. Um, so definitely try to avoid single-use plastics. And another thing is when you see plastics lying around, even if you're not doing a beach cleanup, if you're just randomly walking through a parking lot or something, pick it up, because it's not only the difference that you make by picking up that one piece of trash, but a lot of the times someone else will see you pick up that piece of trash. And maybe they'll be inclined next time to pick up a piece of trash when they're walking through the parking lot. And maybe someone will see them. And the point is, like, you have so much power as one single individual to affect worldly change. So the most important thing for you to do as an individual is to have a voice, get involved, and influence the people around you. You can only pick up so much trash by yourself, but as a full community, look at some of these pictures. We've pulled in full kayaks of water bottles and styrofoam and lines and crab traps, and it's crazy what you guys can get when you all band together and work as a community to clean your seas. So speaking of working as a community to clean your seas, Reverse Tashlik is our really large international event that we hold from Tikkun HaYam. It's coming up on September 12th this year. And basically what it is we take the Jewish tradition of Tashlik that you guys do during Rosh Hashanah, and we try to flip it on its head. Instead of casting all of our sins out into the water and dirtying the oceans, we're trying to remove humanity's sins from the ocean. All around the world, even inland, our goal this year is to have around 1,500 participants all around the world cleaning the oceans all at the same time. And I think that that's a pretty cool goal. So if you guys want to join us, you can go on repairtheseas.org, join us for that cleanup, join a team. And even if you're not doing it for Reverse Tashlik, our marine debris tracker app always works. If you're ever just out at the beach and you want to pick up some trash, put it in the marine debris tracker app. Like I said before, these data sets actually will really help scientists to create future policies in order to stop this plastic from ending up in the oceans in the first place. So data collection is the most important thing that you guys can do. So I hope you will come out and join us for this Reverse Tashlik event, where we'll have data collection going on all around the world and everybody working together to make a difference. So that's just about it for my presentation. I've been extremely lucky in my life to be able to combine my love of the ocean with a job that's organized specifically through my Jewish faith. And it sounds very niche and very unique to me, but there's niche opportunities out there for every single one of us that'll enable you to make a unique difference and really to change the world. I mean, people will call you a dreamer, but you can change the world if you try, because if not you, it's going to be somebody else. So try your best and be the, everybody knows the Gandhi quote, be the change that you want to see in the world. And if you've taken one thing from this presentation, I hope it's that.